Hello, everybody. Hello. It's been a minute. I haven't streamed for over a week. And it's because I have been not in the best health. Sometimes you get sick. It happens. It happens to everybody. But it really hadn't happened to me like this in a long time. It's been a couple of years since I got sick like this. And unfortunately, it was so bad that I really couldn't do much of anything. I had to go to work. But yeah. Error, please use keyframe frequency of 4. What the hell? I don't know what's going on with my studio. That's weird. I haven't streamed in a while. So strange stuff, technical stuff is happening, I guess. Well, anyway, if you guys can see me and hear me, please let me know. Let me know everything's working because I'm getting some weird errors on YouTube Studio. Strange. Anyway, first in the chat, Bassarino, welcome back. Welcome back yourself, sir. Hello. Hello, sir. Television gamer Casey, who has been in the public. Casey, we'll talk about this Intellivision Sprint thing in just a minute. But Casey, very impressive, sir. Very impressive. I think Casey has finally earned the title of the Intellivision gamer. He actually, I can't think of anybody else that is more the Intellivision gamer now than Casey. I'm impressed, sir. I'm very impressed. PJ Smith is also here. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you. Happy Thirsty Thursday. PJ. Happy Thursday. My throat is still a little, it's still a little bit, so bear with me. Sorry. Chris Courage. There he is. Welcome back to the land of the living. Glad your cold passed or passed enough. Yes. Either the cold was going to pass or I was. It was a fight to the end, a fight to the death, cage match. And somehow I pulled through, to the chagrin of several people on the internet. I'm so sorry that I made it. Trichrome79, what's up, dude? Welcome back. Or Trichrome, as our good friend Eugene will like to call you. Trichrome. Trichrome. See if Chrome is right for you. Trichrome 79. Pierre. Hello, Pierre. Hello, sir. Bonsoir, Pierre. Says hello, Cyrus, PJ, Bassarino, Casey, Chris, and Trichrome. Oh, thank you, Trichrome. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you, sir, very much. Thank you for that. I don't have the obnoxious animation, you know, with the stupid little... Oh, I hate the animation. Ugh, when people use this animation, you know what I'm talking about. The little clicky thing comes up and it clicks the fucking thing, and then it's like, click the other fucking thing. Oh, I hate that the noise. Ugh. Sorry. I will never use that crap. You know what I'm talking about. Holy crap. Pierre says, I pre-ordered a Sprint. Did you? We'll talk about that in just a second, Pierre. Thank you for keeping me on topic. Thank you. PJ says he did. Pierre, I see you. I don't see you. If I could see you too, this would be weird. It wouldn't be weird, but it would be weird that it could technically happen that way, is what I'm saying. I can't see through your webcam. Or can I? Anyway. Casey says, I can. Thank you, Casey. Tricom looks good so far. Well. Anyway, thank you. Chris says everything is fine with the stream. Thank you, sir. You look and sound fine. Thank you, Cyrus. I know exactly what you meant. Thank you, Tricom. All right, let me bring this page back up. And we're going to talk about the Intellivision Sprint just a little bit. What is all this other stuff? I just wanted to look at the Intellivision Sprint. I made a song for the Intellivision Sprint. I made a bunch of songs lately. I was thinking about making a video out of it. I might do that at some point. It could be fun. But it's really like a commercial, so I don't know if I want to do it or not. But anyway, Intellivision Sprint. This thing has been in the news. Our good friend Casey has done the Lord's work, as you might call it, in doing a crap ton of interviews and hands-on work and videos and streams and commentaries and comments and chats, as he is here. And he has given us so much good information. Now, there's some other people too that have done some good videos and stuff. Don't get me wrong, but let's just be completely upfront here and be honest. Nobody has done a better job of covering the Intellivision Sprint than Casey, the Intellivision gamer. Nobody. It's not even close. I'm sorry if that hurts anyone's feelings. I you know what? Sorry, not sorry, because Casey is the Intellivision gamer. Officially now, I think. Not officially. Officially, he's not getting paid. At least as far as I don't know. As far as I know, he's not getting paid. But he's definitely doing a great job of showing us what this thing is and talking about it and sharing the information that he gets. I got to tell you my personal thoughts, because everybody does that. That's what we're doing now, is we share our personal thoughts. I'm way late to this. Like, so late, it's like absurd. Everybody's already said everything they have to say, probably, and I haven't even mentioned this in public. So sorry about that. I'm very, very late. But I'm also a very big fan of Intellivision, and I was dangerously close to the last big Intellivision thing that happened, to the point to where it almost destroyed me. Anyway, I think I may have unplugged my Saturn. I'm looking at it right now. No, it's still plugged in. Never mind. We're going to be playing some Saturn in a little bit. Look at that. Look what I got. I finally got my Cyrus cartridge. I got it all loaded up. Also got this cartridge in. Look at that. There's not very many of these. This is a Famicom variant of John's game, Baghdad Extraction, Mavericks Baghdad Extraction. I didn't get a box with it, but that's okay, because I got the thing. And the light gun stuff, it is awesome. It's very awesome. Also, look at this. I wasn't even expecting to get this. And my good friend, the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Courage, out of nowhere, didn't even tell me he was going to do it. He just sent this to me. I guess he had an extra one laying around. He wasn't really using it. And he sent this to me fully loaded so I can play some of those Naomi games on my Dreamcast. This plugs into the serial port in the back. He uses this disc for it. So at some point we'll look at that stuff too. Very, very cool stuff. But right now we're talking about the Intellivision Sprint. Intellivision Sprint. Casey has confirmed he is not getting paid. He is not getting paid. Supposedly, if you want to believe him. More lies from the Intellivision Sprint cult. Not paid legally. Yeah. Anyway, thoughts about the Intellivision Sprint. I got to tell you, I was really sick when this thing came out, when they did the first announcement. I wasn't the first to see it. I think Casey and Chuck and PJ were sending me stuff about it, and I was not in a good headspace. I mean, I was sick. I could barely talk. I was hacking and wheezing and coughing and sneezing, all of the easins, but they weren't easy. It was bad. It was bad times. Not good times. I was running fever. I had a fever, and the only prescription was a Intellivision Sprint. What do I think of the Cyrus so far, Pierre asks. We'll get to that, but I'll tell you just a spoiler. This thing's fucking amazing. Sorry I cussed. I've had no problems with it. Zero. Which was totally not expected. But anyway, back to what we're talking about, television Sprint. So I was not in a good headspace when this thing debuted. And the first thing that I recognized was the first thing that everybody recognized before I even looked at what the thing featured, what the good stuff was. The first thing that I noticed was that it didn't have a cartridge port. That's the first thing everybody notices. And the way I worded it whenever I was being told about this, I said something to the effect of, the one thing that would justify its existence isn't on it. It doesn't have. I was not happy. I was very upset for a little while. My initial reaction was, and let me tell you why I was upset. I wasn't personally upset that it didn't have a cartridge port, because to be completely frank, I don't care that much about the cartridge port. I play mainly ROMs. I can't afford these ridiculously overpriced, expensive, artificially inflated prices on some of these television homebrews that are sitting out there, that you see some of these that are $300 or $400 or even more than that. And I'm like, I'm not buying that. I'm just not buying that. So I buy ROMs. And thankfully, Casey sold me an LTO flash cartridge for my Intellivision, and I've been able to enjoy those ROMs on my actual Intellivision. It's been awesome, because you really do need this controller or something like this controller, which is, we'll get to more of that in a minute, but yeah, you got to have that, because there's JZINTV, which is a great emulator on PC, but the controller is sort of the problem with that. Okay. But anyway, so I was a little upset, not because I cared so much about getting cartridges and stuff or playing my cartridges on this thing. I wasn't that upset about that. What I was upset about was that everybody seemed like they were fine with there not being cartridge support all of a sudden, when all I've ever heard for the past year, I don't know how many years, is how it had to have cartridge support, and that was like a deal breaker. And all of a sudden everybody's fine. Like they never said none of that stuff. Like they just pretend like that never happened. And I was also upset because I knew for a fact that there are people who put out homebrews who don't want to put out ROMs and have fought putting out ROMs and would only be putting out cartridges. And this to me was, I was like imagining these guys and how what their reactions to this whole thing was be. So I was upset. I was upset for a few reasons. But the more I thought about it, I thought, talk to Casey, talk to Chuck, talk to PJ, talk to different people, talk to Luke. And the more I thought about it, I was like, there are a lot of these homebrew guys who have been more open to the ROM thing and have been putting out things on ROMs. Maybe this is going to push more of them in that direction. Maybe this is going to be like the straw that broke the camel's back. Excuse me. And now we finally start getting ROM versions of some of those carts that never had ROM versions. So maybe there's a possibility something good could happen there. I was also very sick. Remember that. I was in a bad mood. But it took me a little while to process all this and think about it and think about what I thought should be going on here and what I thought about this actual system. And, learning more about what it could do. When I found out you could sideload any ROM, all of the new homebrews and everything, and they would all work because it's JZINTV, the emulator. When I heard that, I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. That was not expected. I did not expect that to be a feature that they would just not only allow, but actually promote. And then when I found out the controllers, while they are wireless, they're 2.4 gigahertz wireless. So they're not Bluetooth. So that means you're basically not going to have lag. You're going to have almost nothing on lag. And as Casey has pointed out, a tremendous range because 2.4 gigahertz is very stable. I was very happy to hear that. There's some complexity to that when it comes to the idea of replacing broken controllers and stuff like that. So I'm interested to know what the solution is for that situation. But Chuck was bringing this up quite a bit too. So thank you, Chuck, for kind of pushing that and getting, putting that idea out there. And maybe there's been some updates on that I don't know about. I'll get back to the chat in just a second, guys. Sorry. Just trying to get a few thoughts out. Cause like I said, I'm late to this and there's a lot that I've processed and thought about. Another thing that kind of upset me, and it shouldn't have upset me, but like I said, I was not in a good headspace. I was sick. I was not feeling good. But another thing that upset me was there were some typos that Atari had put in their original information about this that caused some confusion about what was actually happening with this system. Are the overlays double-sided? Are they cardboard overlays of some kind? What does that even mean? And then the big thing was this whole idea, and I don't know where this idea originated, but there was this idea floating around because of a typo on the Atari information on their website that you were going to be able to somehow buy an adapter that would hook the Intellivision Sprint up to an Intellivision 2 console, specifically an Intellivision 2 console. And then somehow with the Intellivision 2 console, you would take your cartridge and you would put it in that and you would be able to play your Intellivision cartridges through the Intellivision 2, which would then send the signal somehow into the Intellivision Sprint. And then you would play with the Intellivision Sprint and it would go through the HDMI and you would have that controller. But the cartridge slot on the Intellivision 2 console would somehow be transmitting cartridge information. You know what this reminded me of? Back in the day when the Turbo Duo was brand new, it was coming out, there was this SCSI adapter that they kept advertising, that the SCSI adapter was going to plug into the turbo chip slot on the Turbo Duo and you could hook it into a computer and then you could use the Turbo Duo as a CD-ROM for the computer. And they talked about this in magazines and it was talked about quite a bit. I don't even know if it ever really happened or not, but it was a thing. It was a thing that that was talked about back in the day. And that's what I thought of when people were floating this idea around. And I get why they were. Friends of mine were talking about this idea because they really want to play their cartridges. And there was this vague typo on the Atari website that confused people about what was going on there. But I was not in a good headspace. I was sick. I was not feeling well. And people were talking about this like it was really about that. Like, that's happening. That's happening. And I was like, there's no way that that's happening. There's no way. I mean, look, I'm a dumb old man, old man cringe community. I fell for the whole Amico thing, hook, line, and sinker. So if anybody's going to fall for some stupid shit that's not going to work out, it's me. And I saw that was like just the logistics of that whole concept was insane. And I'm like, guys, what? You're just jumping that's what's happening? I was very confused by that. But I recognized that I was sick and that I was not in a good mood and that my thinking was very hostile towards a lot of this stuff. So I wisely, I couldn't really do video or stream anyway because my voice was jacked up, but I wisely kept a lot of my thoughts to myself or to just private conversations with friends. So it took me a little while to calm down. And a big part of that thanks to Intellivision Gamer Casey for doing the legwork, going the extra mile and testing this thing and getting answers and doing interviews and really expanding the knowledge base of what we know about this to where it all made sense. The initial presentation from Atari on their website was not great, but they more than made up for it by being open and talking to everybody and explaining things and actually getting feedback. And maybe even they're going to change some things too. So, okay, much better introduction if you give it a few days. You know, in that very brief window, it was crazy, but it definitely got better. Let me catch up on the chat and we'll talk some more about those. There's a lot of the chat. Sorry about that. Let's see. Chris Courage, watch them do what they did with the Atari VCS, release a system without a cartridge port first, then release another one 6 months to a year with a cartridge port. I think a lot of people think that's what's going to happen, Chris. There's going to be like an Intellivision Plus. I think a lot of people have been speculating about that for a long time. But I think eventually, just from the way they're talking, it sounds like that's kind of what's coming. Something like that later. Or maybe a USB adapter, something. I don't know. Casey says more will be selling ROMs now. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, they're going to sell ROMs on thumb drives. I think that's a cool idea. And yeah, let me ask you this, Casey. I'll catch up when I get to it in the chat. Are there any homebrew people that are upset by the idea that the people like me who have already paid for their ROMs would want to put those ROMs on a flash drive that we own and put it in this thing and play it? Is that going to be a problem if I'm streaming and these guys come back and they're like, you didn't buy the new thing. You know, you bought those to play on a regular television, not on this. I don't know what people's thinking is right now. I don't know if that's a problem for people or if they're on board with this and like, no, that's cool. You already bought it. Cool. Play it on there. I don't know. So I'm just curious what the thinking is, because I can't, sometimes the thinking gets a little weird for me to understand with some of this stuff, if that makes sense. Let's see. Casey says, having this console, being able to sideload our own games is great, and it works for all homebrews, which is amazing. Yes. Pierre says, same for me. I can't buy the carts. I buy anti-ROMs more than cart. I'm fine with a cart slot. It might come later in another version. Yes, that's what we're hoping. Something like that. Something. Casey says, Thai baby will be in my living room. I don't know what that means. Pierre says, these publishers are starting to change their mind. I think so, Pierre. I hope so. Tricomb, RF is better than Bluetooth all day long. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. Casey says, those babies will work from so far away you can't see the gameplay. Yeah, I heard you were able to walk really, really far away and they were working fine. And that's pretty typical of 2.4 gigahertz. Mike Wolf. What's up, Mike? How you doing? Mike Wolf. Casey says, I asked this, and at the moment it's reach out to customer service. I asked this, and at the moment it's reach out to customer service controllers. I don't know what that means. Luke says, Atari and the typos, they will do the same thing with their new carts and manuals. Yeah, probably so. Apparently Atari doesn't have anyone check anything. Well, I don't really, it's whatever, we've been through this with another company. This is a much better situation, even with the typos. But it seems like small companies have problems with this stuff. Television Gamer, the overlays we had there were just like originals and single-sided. I think that's what most people want, is just regular overlays. So the double-sided thing confused people. Again, the wording they have, is it double-sided as in there's two games, one on each side? Or did they mean double-sided as in there's a game on this side and it's blank on this side? So it's two sides. I don't know what they meant. I don't know. The adapters are just for controllers. Oh, for the like Intellivision 2 style controllers and stuff is what you're talking about. I got you. Night Wolves. Yo, boss. What's up? What's up, Night? Bill Bob OMB. How many gigawatts did you say this thing had again? 1.21. 1.21, Bill Bob. If I could turn back time. Casey says, put it in their head we need a dongle to use the new controllers on original consoles. Well, I think you're going to need a dongle anyway for replacement controllers for these things, right? Maybe not. I don't know how that would work, but yeah, I think it seems like that might be something that would be a good idea. 1.21 gigawatts, however you want to say it. Thank you, Luke. Tricom S. Scuzzy, nice name drop. Yes. Yes. Scuzzy. Slowly catching up, guys. Has everyone hit that like button yet? I certainly hope so. Is that enough to go back in time? I think so, Bill Bob. I think so. Luke says, only if you hit 88 miles per hour. Yeah. Apocalyptic Minister, what's up, dude? Got lucky enough to catch the mighty Cyrus. What's on the game list, brother? Well, if we get to any gameplay, we're going to check out the Cyrus cart that I got, and I just got working on for my Saturn. That'll probably be what we look at, just to kind of give you an overview of some of the stuff on it. By the way, I've concluded that if you do get a Cyrus cart, the sweet spot for your SD card is the 256 gigabytes. 128, it's not quite enough. 512, it's overkill. 256, that's what I recommend. Casey says 45 games, but you can sideload all games, including homebrew. Yes. Apocalyptic Minor, hostile is a good word. Casey is the man. Yes, Luke, he is. The Intellivision gamer, to be exact. Just right place, right time. Yep, that's what it is, dude. That's exactly what it is. You got to be there at the right moment. What is that? There's an expression about this. Success is preparation plus opportunity. Something like that. That's probably not, I'm probably butchering that, but you know what I'm trying to say. Television, nope, everyone's fine so far. They will sell more ROMs now. Also, I agree with that. I'm guessing most will sell ROMs soon. Game saves didn't work, but they're working on that. Yeah, they got to get that figured out. They got about a month to figure that, or I don't know how long it's going to take to get this thing built. Maybe they can just do like firmware updates on them if they've already got them built. I don't know, but they got to get that figured out. Apocalyptic says, hit the like, guys. He's got 4. Oh my. Thank you, Apocalyptic Minister. I appreciate that. Kay says, we didn't see any double-sided overlays at PRGE. I don't think that was, I don't think they're making them double-sided. I think that was another miscommunication. Casey says, but with those adapters, we should be able to use all the aftermarket controllers. Soon as I get my hands on those adapters, I will test them all. That's pretty awesome. Thank you, Casey. I think I have every controller that's been put out. I think you probably do. More than one of each, probably. Tricom, I always click like twice just to make sure. So do I. Saturn, oh hell yeah, okay. The only preparation I know is preparation H. Well, relief, you know how to spell it. PJ Smith, sprint ships in 43 days. Do you guys anticipate there'll be any kind of delay, or do you think it'll actually meet its release date? Because that's the thing to do these days. The hip thing, all the kids are doing it, is to delay, to announce something and then delay it forever. There's another company that is supposedly releasing a console that everybody's talked about quite a bit that plays N64 games, and all we seem to hear is delay, or nothing. And yet this thing gets announced, it gets presented, it gets displayed, it gets fully tested, and the pre-orders are put out, and it's got a release date all at the same time. If Atari pulls that off and there's no delays on this, I will be very, very impressed. The bar has been set very low. Casey says they will be updating firmware so things can keep improving, and they are open to suggestions, which is great. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's good. Things are going pretty good. Casey, don't jinx it, Cyrus. Wouldn't that be something if I jinxed it? Wouldn't that be something? Preparation Aegis. The mod retro M64 will be at the analog. What does that mean? Luke says the mod retro M64 will be at the analog 3D F analog. I think what you're saying is it'll beat to the market. Yeah, I believe that's true. They were actually showing that off. People were playing the mod retro, the M64. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with analog, but that's analog. They've always been like that. Casey, make sure a charge brick and do not use the USB port on your TV. That's good to know. That's good to know. PJ, does Atari have a history of delays? I don't think so. I don't think so either. I can't really remember any delays from Atari, but I'm not saying it's never happened, but they're definitely not as notorious as some other people. That's for sure. Retro Bro, John's here. John, I was just showing everybody this. Look at that. The Famicom version of John's Mavericks Baghdad Extraction. It's a very nice cartridge. I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. It's very nice. Works really good with that light gun. Thank you for that, John. He says, of all the live streams, glad you are feeling better. I'm doing a lot better. I'm like 95%. I still have a little bit of something going on, but not bad. Dude, it was bad. It was bad. I'm not saying it was the big casino. The infamous disease that doesn't exist, that they say exists, that killed people, that didn't kill people, that there's blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying it's that one, but it was bad. It was not good. It was not good at all. Luke says, yeah, Casey, it looks great, or what I've seen does. Do you even sprint, bro? John he's got one. He's got one coming. Oh, yeah. Yes, I did pre-order it. I forgot to say that. It took me a couple days to think about it. And once I processed all the information and I learned about the side loading of ROMs and I really got to see a lot of the demonstration stuff, I was like, yeah, I think I need to get this. So I also had pre-ordered. I only pre-ordered one. I've been seriously thinking about getting a second one for my brother. Hopefully it doesn't sell out before I have a little bit extra cash and I can maybe do that, because I might get another one. I might get two of these. So we'll see. Trichome, that would plug into my AVS rather well. Yeah, it's nice, right? It's very nice. AVS is a great system. You can hear it. John says, honest question regarding the Sprint. I don't understand the want for a cartridge slot for the Sprint when most people have the actual OG console. Why choose to play on an emulator? It's a good question. It's a very good question, John. I think part of it is the wireless controllers. That's a big thing. Sitting back on your couch with the wireless controllers. JZ INTV is a very, very good emulator. It's the best Intellivision emulator and can play all the newer homebrew stuff and everything. So there's some, as far as emulation goes, that's the best emulator and the best way to play. And then if you have these controllers, there's just a lot of cool stuff. Plus it's HDMI. I have obviously, right, real Intellivision, and I don't even play cartridges. I play on my LTO flash, which is what this thing's going to be doing too, playing ROMs and stuff. But yeah, I think I will probably switch over and pretty much exclusively use the Intellivision Sprint, because it's got its own HDMI. The signal's going to look better. Don't get me wrong. My modded Intellivision does look very good, but it's going to be a better signal coming, 720p HDMI. And the fact that it plays all the, the newer ROMs and everything, it's a it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So, you don't understand the want for cartridge slot. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that have invested a lot of money in cartridges. They have a cartridge collection that's very expensive. And a lot of the games that were put out for Intellivision Homebrew were never released as ROMs. There's a whole bunch of them. We were talking about this earlier. So a lot of these people want to be able to play those cartridges. And since there's not a cartridge slot, then because of all those positives about it, I was just talking about with the controller and HDMI and sitting back on the couch, there's a lot of reasons why they might want to use this for that, but they really can't. Plus, I think people think that if it doesn't have the cartridge slot, then that's going to affect the market for future cartridges being made and stuff like that. People are concerned about what it means for the homebrew community, so to speak, which I think it's actually a good thing, but I'm not one of those guys who buys all the cartridges. So yeah, but yeah, I see different sides of it is what I'm trying to say. Casino. Yeah. Retro Bro. Hey, PJ, Luke Casey. Tricom says, I sound more like Johnny Cash when I get sick, but Cyrus sounds more like Alex Jones. I always sound like Alex Jones anyway, but yeah, I probably sound even more. I could really sound like Alex Jones if I want to, but I'm not trying to mess my throat up right now. Excuse me. Yeah, the blue really stands out nice on the black Famicom cartridge. It's really nice, John. It's very good. It's very good. I won't lie, those wireless controllers and the fact I'm increasingly lazy and don't want to get off my recliner is kind of what sold me. You know what, John? I don't know how much you'll use this thing, but if you were ever going to use an Intellivision, this is the one that you're going to use. So, yeah, I think it's a pretty interesting device. Tricom, I'm looking to buy new rubber for my NES controller build. The ones I used register everything except diagonal. Oh, wow. Huh. Casey, a lot of the 2014 flashbacks go for well over 100, and those aren't very good. Yeah. I'll have a fully loaded USB drive for the console in my living room. I'll be playing more Intellivision games. Yeah. Bill Bob says, Jones should be a death metal vocalist. I bet he could shatter glass. Probably so. Kay says, I have every game at least once, and I love this console. Atari told us they will be bringing homebrew Intellivision games to market. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see too. That's going to be pretty cool. I wonder what the pricing is going to be like on that. Apocalyptic, I'm actually thankful for the Intellivision core on my analog NT Noir and the ColecoVision core, both HDMI 1080. Hell yeah, dude. What they need to do is what Casey was talking about and bring out those dongles for these wireless controllers so that you could use the Intellivision controller on that. Maybe if they could figure out how to do that, make drivers for it or whatever needs to happen. But yeah, that would be really cool. Because you don't have to have the Intellivision controller, but man, it really makes the experience a lot better if you have a actual Intellivision controller or something that's like that, Mike Wolf, I like when Alex Jones does that thing where he has a brain fart and just stares in space for like 5 seconds as he's thinking. Alex Jones is a interesting guy, interesting character. I do like new systems though. What's up, Salvatore? How you doing? So, Television Sprint, pretty cool. Doesn't have a cartridge slot. I don't think it's that big a deal. There's possibilities for ways they could eventually, with a USB adapter of some kind, add that functionality if they think it's actually going to make them enough money. Or there could be another system down the road that takes care of that. Or this really could be the beginning of just a new concept for Intellivision homebrew and old school collectors and stuff, since they're going to be putting out these games on USB drives and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. But I'm fine with it because, like I said, I buy ROMs. I've only bought one homebrew cartridge, which was Intellavania, and I also bought the ROMs of Intellavania. So I'm not that worried about it. If I can play on these controllers and have a good experience, then I'm fine. But again, I'm not saying this as like a dismissal of the people that are upset, because I do understand if you've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars collecting these special cartridges that don't even have ROMs available, I understand why that might upset you, that you can't play your cartridges. I get it. I totally get that. PJ says, no cartridge slot, no peace. Wow. Are we going to have a full strike, like a picket? They're going to have to call in the National Guard, and old school, like old man cringe community and television guys are going to get shot in the chest with canisters of tear gas. That would be interesting. Salvatore was there and played the Sprint as well. Yeah. Salvatore. Let's see. Apocalyptic Man, great idea. That is an issue, but they do have an off-brand dongle where you can hook up multiple controllers, but it sticks out and looks ugly. Well, that's unfortunate. PJ, I'm glad Salvatore got to experience PRG with 2 working elbows this year. So that's pretty much what I think about that. I don't know. If you guys have any other thoughts or questions or anything, we could talk about it more, but I figured it's time to fire up the Cyrus. I got this thing yesterday. And I've been working for the past few days on building up my Saturn ISOs and everything and checking them and having to replace some that for some reason I kept having corruption when I would extract certain ones. It was weird. But I finally got it. I figured I was going to need 250 gigabytes, and that's what I put in these. The ones I bought came with 128 gigabyte, SD cards. And I found out pretty early on that was not going to be enough. And then I just ordered 256 ones, and those are perfect. So, yeah. So I haven't had any problems with this yet. We're going to plug it in. I'll show you what it's like. The cool thing about the Cyrus is it has a crap ton of save data on the cartridge, but you can actually transfer save data from the internal memory and back and forth. It's got a lot of functionality that I didn't expect it to have. So it's pretty cool. I'm going to bring it up here. All right. I'm going to turn on my Saturn. This is a gray Japanese Model 1 Sega Saturn. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but if you press start, you can skip the intro. I don't know if you knew that. If you're tired of watching it. So I just skipped it. I'll be using the best fighting D-pad controller ever made. This one right here, this style. This was in the United States. This was known as the Model 2. In Japan, this was just the regular one. We got a really shitty one with the Model 1 Saturn here in America. All right. So when I got the Cyrus, I got the games on it. I put the cartridge in, I turned on the system, and it comes up with this menu. It's all in Japanese. And there was no way for me to figure out what to do. I took my phone and put it on translate and held it up to the screen trying to see what it said. And I couldn't figure it out. So I looked up the instruction manual because Kaiko, the company that makes my cartridge, has instruction manuals on their website. And it just told you, go in and edit this one thing and change it from a 0 to a 1, and it'll be in English. So I took the SD card out, put it on the computer again, changed the 0 to a 1, and everything's in English. So it fixed the problem very easily. So from this menu, you can load games. There's a CD player option. You can actually load burned discs from this. Like if you still want to load your old burned discs and you still have CD functionality, you can do that. Load binary. Not sure what that means. I'm not sure if that's like a firmware update thing or something. I'm not sure. And serial debug shell, which I don't know what that does. But the only thing I really have used here is this one. And you don't have to load screenshots. It automatically does that. I don't know how it's doing that, but it has screenshots for all this stuff. Not everything has screenshots because I do have some English translated things and some hacks in here. And they seem to work fine, but they don't have screenshots if they're something like that. But I think there's a certain button you can press to make the screenshot image appear behind the text if you want. I got this yesterday, so I don't know what that is exactly. But yeah, another thing I'll tell you, one little tiny gripe that I have, it's not a big deal at all, but it doesn't necessarily put everything in alphabetical order. Most of this stuff is in alphabetical order because of the way I put it on the card. But some of the stuff that I had to take off and put back on at the end is out of order alphabetically. So it's a little bit annoying. So keep in mind, when you put the stuff on the card, the order in which you add it is the order in which it will show up on this list, which is kind of a little weird, but yeah. But the games, everything I've tested on it has worked fine. I have not had a problem yet. I've not had a problem. If you hit the R button, you can skip pages. You can go skip different pages down the, so you can go through the list very, very quickly. But we'll get to the end here and I'll show you. See, it's back to the S. All right. So see here, like we got to the end with the X and Z's, but then these are the ones I had to go back and add. And so they're out of order alphabetically. But anyway, I'm going to load up Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold, my favorite of the Street Fighters. And we'll just play a little bit. Play a little bit of that. We might play something else too, but we'll start with that. PJ says Sally Field as Norma Ray standing on a table with a sign that says cartridge slot. I've seen that movie. I know what you're talking about. I got that reference. Saboteur. Yeah, I played Intelligent Sprint. I'm totally in. Pre-order also in. I've not heard anybody who's tested it say anything bad about it. So I'm very excited about that. And it's coming out, hopefully, if nothing gets delayed, very soon. I may have ordered a few. Wahoo for Saru. Yes. Thank you, Luke. Yahoo Saru. Luke's Awakening. Great Minds. Yes. Did it really have the box art? Yeah. It was already in there. I didn't do that. Saturn is my second favorite system of all time. Well, I got to tell you guys, this is a game changer. Because the Saru, at least this version of the Saru, the one from Kaiko that I bought, absolutely fantastic. Very fast loading. I have not had any kind of errors so far. I'm going to jinx myself. Watch. There'll be some kind of error. But I have not seen anything yet. It's like every Saturn game is on a cartridge. Literally. Oh, how dare you? Come on, do it. So, the character that I selected is not regular Ryu. Ryu. His stuff's a little different. Come on, do it. Whatever. Now watch this. I'm going to reset it. I'm just going to hit reset. I'm going to skip the little intro. right back to it. And we're already back in the game here. Metal Torso. What's up, dude? What firmware version? I think it's 0.7. 0.7, I think. Saboteur, I'm interested in how Time Gal, Ninja, how it work on the Saru. Only games that have issues with Satiator. I don't know if I put Time Gal or Ninja Hayate. Is that how you say that? I don't think I put those on here. Okay, let me see. I may not have them on here. That doesn't mean I can't add them, but I don't think I put them on here. All right, let's see. Let me back up. Time. Yeah, I don't think I put that one on there. What was the other one? Ninja Hayate? Every time I do something like this, there's always some random game that I'm like, oh yeah. I tried to get every game I could think of that was something I would want to play, and I think I still missed some. That's the way it goes. But I still have like 80 gigabytes that I can put more stuff on here. So I don't think I have either one of those on here. Sorry about that. I have the mode, which I would have waited for the Saru because my disk drive still works and I have to remove it. Yeah. Well, if there's anything else that you guys know of that said supposedly has problems, let me know, because I did look at a couple lists that people had given of games that they thought had issues, and those games did not have any issues. So, I don't know. I have a lot of games on here, but apparently not everything. What's up, John? You back? Okay. Yeah, we're doing the test, just a little bit of testing of the Saru cart. Saru. Try In the Hunt. Mine works only sometimes. Okay, In the Hunt. I do have that one. I know that. I just got this yesterday, so I have not tested everything. In the Hunt. Is that Phantasmagoria was 8 discs? Yeah, it is 8 discs. How does that work on there? Well, after you get through each disc, I think it saves and then you have to switch discs. Or if you've saved it, you can just reset it and load the next disc, so to speak. I don't know exactly how it works because I haven't tested it too much, but yeah. My cart slot on my Saturn is finicky. I'm afraid to take my pseudo cart. Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about that. All right, I'm gonna skip that. In the Hunt. Engage the silent drive. 1 ping only. Some things around here don't react too well to bullets. Looks like it's running. Nice. Yep. Seems to be good. In the Hunt runs at like 5 frames per second. Oh no. Oh no. All right, here we go. Oh, I blew it up. I blew it up. lot of slowdown in this one. For show. It does seem to be working though, as well as it does work. So that's cool. Buckaroo. That's right. That's right. We get some buckaroo. All right. Anything else anybody wants to see tested? Oh, Phantasmagoria. I don't know if we can really test too much because we can really look at the first disc really, but we can at least see how it runs for that. Phantasmagoria. Oh, I screwed that up. Okay, see how it says game boot failed? I screwed that up. I need to move those each into their own folder, each one of the discs, because otherwise it does this. I had the same problem with the Street Fighter collection, which is why it's at the end of my list, because I had to delete it and then take the 2 discs out and put them in their own folders, and then it works fine. So yeah, I got to remember to do that. So that's, unfortunately, I can't play Phantasmagoria because of that until I fix that. But it's not a big issue. Just, unfortunately, that's the way it works. But like Police Knots, since I separated that one out already, you could just go into the disc. John says it gets worse. LOL. It runs like crap on PS1 also. Yeah. Apocalyptic, try FMV game. Do you have Psychonauts? Looks like you'll be fine though. Yeah. Psychonauts. I believe so. Heard The Crow is pretty good. There's 2 Crow games. There's The Crows and The Crow City of Angel. And they're not anything alike. One of them's based on, I think it's based on the Crow City of Angels movie. The other one is not based on any of that. It's a totally different kind of game. Road Rash? Yeah, we could check that out. That's what I thought. You'd need a folder for each. Yes. Yep. I just forgot to move them. My bad. Police Knots. I was for some reason seeing the opening to Police Squad in my head with the siren and the light. I don't know. Anyway, let's load something else. Skip. Let me skip that. Psychonauts. Okay, let's see if I have that on here. Psychonauts. Well, I guess I don't have it on here. Unless it's like at the very end of the list, like those other games. Yeah, I don't have it on here. It's funny how, like I said, no matter what I do, I can think I have every single game and I'm going to miss something every single time. That's the way it goes. This is that X-Men arcade port that they did. I haven't tested it yet to see if it works. See if it runs. Ah, it seems like it's working. Excellent.
X-Men.
Crow City of Angels sucks. Does it play Doom? Psychonauts is on PS2. Oh, well, no wonder I don't have it on here. Police these nuts.
X-Men.
Oh, you meant Police Knots. Okay. All right, hang on. Doom. There's a like a hacked version of the Saturn Doom. Doom is terrible on the Saturn. It runs like crap. But there's a hacked version which I think might run a little bit better. And I think I put it on here. I have not played it or tested it. Yeah, Doom fix patch 0.2. Let's see if it works. And if it runs, I don't know how it's going to run. So we'll see. Rage. Oh yeah, I'm running this with my HD Retrovision cables, so it's RGB coming out of the Saturn going into my retro tank. So yeah, it's a very good picture. Saturn can do some very high resolution stuff. All right, let's see what we got here for options. Configuration. Okay, that's fine. Single player. Wow. That actually runs pretty good. I mean, it doesn't run as good as as it could, but it runs way, way better than what it was running. At least so far, anyway. That's not bad. So far. I don't know how you run. Oh, there it is. The X button. Runs a lot better. It runs a lot better than what it did. The original is a glitch fest. They fixed the 3DO version too. Really? I know they were working on the 3DO version. Last time I tested it, it wasn't really that much improved, so I'm glad to hear they've done more on it. That's good. It's really good. The original is a glitch fest. This looks incredible. Super crisp, super sugar crisp. Dick 'em. Man. Yes. Got me wanting some cereal. Is there a Doom for the 2600? I think there is like a Doom for 2600, but it's not good, you know. It's whatever. Just like a proof of concept, kind of not really playable very well, but yeah. The sound is limited, but the gameplay isn't bad looking. Yeah. About Marvel superheroes versus Street Fighter. Yeah, we can check that out. Dude, this is a very playable version of Doom. It's not running as good as that new 32X version, which is ironic, you know, but that's a really, really optimized version now. But this runs good. This runs pretty good. A lot better than I expected. And I've never seen it look like this, so very impressed. I mean, look at the frame rate. That's very, very good. That's actually very, very playable. I didn't do any of the extra stuff or anything. Yeah, and not having any load time with the Cyrus is so awesome. All right. You said Marvel versus Street Fighter. We can check that out. 19 people in this, John, and only 9 likes. Get it together, people. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. Not as smooth as Doom 64. Well. Saturn is only 32-bit. Apocalyptic, super crisp Cookie Crisp, have you tried Panzer Dragoon 1 and 2? I did play 2 a little bit yesterday. Not 1, but I did play 2 a little bit, and it was great. Symphony of the Night. Yeah, I do have a version on here. One of the hacks of Symphony of the Night is on here. What were we going to do? We're going to do Marvel versus Street Fighter. Marvel versus Street Fighter. There we go.
Are you ready, true believers? Capcom and Marvel have joined forces once again to bring you Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter.
Oh my.
Don't miss out on the enjoyment of a lifetime. Behold, amazing services. Don't miss the most amazing tag team fighting game ever. Are you ready for a new challenger?
Yeah, these 2D fighting games on the Saturn are just, I mean, so good. They are so good. That extra RAM cart, the 1 meg and the 4 meg, do some magic with those things. So this is the one that needed the extra RAM cart. That's why I wanted to see if this worked. Yeah. Yeah, the Cyrus will support 1 meg and 4 meg. And also, I think it supports something else. And I'm not exactly sure. It's some kind of new... how do I say this? I think it's like a homebrew kind of situation where they figured out how to make the RAM even bigger. The RAM pool bigger. And I think the Cyrus supports that too. And I think it's 16 meg, but I don't know. You have to have special hacked ISOs for that, I think. And I haven't looked into it too much. It's not something I've really explored, but I think there's something like that. John says, so good, the best. Everyone agrees. All others terrible. Yes. I first played the Saturn on board the ship while in the U.S. Navy. Oh, wow. How about that? Cool. All right. So you see it works. I'm going to check out some more stuff. Like I said, I have not had anything not work other than if I screwed up the folders. The games all work. All the ones that I've tested anyway. X-Men, Children of the Atom, Street Fighter. That's the 1 meg version right there. X-Men versus Street Fighter 1 meg. That's for that. There's some Neo Geo. Yeah, Real Bout. I don't know if that needs the RAM cart or not, but it looks fantastic. See how it works. Yeah, some really good Neo Geo ports on the Saturn also. With basically no loading now, since it's on the Cyrus. I think the CD sound might be a little bit off. It's probably something I could fix with the config file.
One. Fight.
Let me start a match and see how it does.
Hey, how's it going, dude? And let's begin. I choose your favorite character. It's first opponent is bad. Be tough or be dead, big guy. Ready? Go.
Its voice. It's funny. How pricey is the Saru? Yeah, mine was
Buddy,
a little. It was $50-something. No, I think it was because I bought two of them. I bought one for me and I bought one for my friend Max. We're doing a little exchange of stuff, so I bought him a Saru and loaded it up, and I sent it to him this morning. So I think I paid $120, like right around $120 for two cartridges. So. Trying to figure out what the buttons are. I should have changed the buttons. Anyway, it works. I bought my cartridges from Amazon. And I bought the Kaiko versions. There's a company called Kaiko, K-A-I-C-O, who I've bought a lot of things from, and I've always liked that brand. I've since learned from talking about this a little bit, some people don't like that brand because they say that the company kind of steals other people's ideas and stuff like that. I don't know too much about that, but I can tell you the quality of the product is always very good. So I bought several devices and adapters and different things from them, and I've had good luck with all of that. So, I think so. You were asking about, what game were you asking about earlier? Bill Bob says, Cyrus made a great point last week. If Sega had made the Saturn backwards compatible with the game Genesis and Sega CD, we might not have a PS5 today. Well, you know, a lot of us thought that it was backwards compatible. It was very confusing because we saw the Saturn, the photos, and it had the cartridge slot. And I think a lot of us assumed, because Sega had a very good track record of being backwards compatible. You know, I think a lot of us had assumed, and I think there were rumors that sort of bolstered the idea that the Saturn was going to be backwards compatible. And so a lot of us were excited about it. And then when we found out it wasn't, it was a real downer, man. We were like, it's $100 more than the PlayStation and it's not backwards compatible. We were very confused by that. And then we saw some of the side-by-sides, you know, comparing Battle Arena Toshinden and some of the other games. And we're like, ugh. So, yeah, we bought PlayStations. I didn't get a Saturn until it went on sale for $150. It went on sale for $150 when they brought out the Model 2, and it came with like 5 games. That's when I bought a Saturn. So I wasn't there at the very beginning. But I did really enjoy my Saturn, and I would have enjoyed it a hell of a lot more if more games had come to the United States, because we got screwed. There were so many good games that never came out over here. But we did get some good ones, and I did buy some of the good ones. I was able to get my hands on, Knights with the 3D controller. Some of the really good games. Also got a copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga when it came out, and that was really hard to get, but I was able to get that. So I had a good experience with the Saturn back in the day. It was good. It could have been better, but it was good. But yeah, now with all this, man, it's bizarre. It's like freaking awesome. Saturn is so good. So awesome. And the Outrun on here, by the way, if you play Outrun on the Saturn, you can play in 60 frames per second mode. I think the Outrun that's on the Switch also does 60 frames per second. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. But I'm trying to remember if there's like a code or something you do to get to 60 frames per second on Outrun. I think there's something you do, but I can't remember what it is. Because I think regular it's 30, but like if you do something, you can play 60 frames. I'm trying to remember. John says, my rich friend gave me his Saturn after he bought a PS1. His parents bought him a Saturn at launch. Yeah. Yeah, see, this is 30 frames. And then there's something you can do to change it to 60. God dang it, I'm going to have to look it up. Because I can't remember. Let me look it up. It's like everybody writes an article about that it has 60 frames, but then they don't say how to do it. They're just like bragging about that it has it, but they won't tell you. Like, just tell me how to do it. Okay, game mode. Hold A and C while using left or right to select a mode. Okay, let's see if that works.
Get ready.
Nope, I hit the wrong thing, I guess. Okay, I had to reset. We'll just have to reset. I don't know how to... God dang it. I set my controller down in the water from my cup. It was like moisture coming off my cup. I hate when I do that. One more time. We'll try this again. All right, what was that? Say, was it under S? Can't remember where that was. God dang it. So many games. First world problems. Yeah, here it is. Sega Ages Outrun. Try this again. From the options menu. Okay. I gotta go to the options menu. Sorry. Options menu. All right. And game mode. So if we hold down A and C and press left. There we go. Smooth. That's the one we want. Overseas smooth. That's what we want. Excellent. Gear mode. I'm gonna do automatic because I don't want to mess with the gears. Enemy low. We'll leave that alone. All right. Let's see how that works. So this should be 60 frames per second.
Get ready.
Oh yeah, that's, look how smooth that is. Wow. Hopefully you're seeing the difference there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Outrun on the Switch also does 60. I gotta get that steering wheel, the Sega Saturn steering wheel. It's actually supposed to be really good, and I just have never bought it. I really do need to get it. Oh crap. Damn it. Oops. Well, we'll go this way. I meant to do that. I haven't played this 60 frames on a CRT. I have to do that too. I bet that would be really cool. All right, anyway, we figured that out. It works. Night Wolf's Cyrus the Virus. What's up, dude? What's up? I'm not John Malkovich. I don't talk like that. Smooth Santana featuring Rob Thomas on vocals. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's some great games on the Saturn. Whole bunch of awesome shmups and racing games and just tons of games you wouldn't expect would be on here. Estelle, that's a classic, awesome game. That's a good one. That's again. Ballerina Toshinden. And then URA Remix, which I think is a lot better, but I still like both of them. Even though I like the PlayStation version of Toshinden better. Still good on Saturn. It's not bad. Just don't compare it directly. Blast Wind. That's a cool one. If you never played that. Pretty cool, like, show you what it looks like. It's like 3D kind of mech. It's like 2D, 3D stuff mixed together. Drunky Cheese. What's up, Drunky? Is it secret? Is it safe?
Only a pocket of humanity survives.
I'm playing Rush 2 on my N64. Nice. Very nice. It's me, Baker. Oh, I see. Well, hello back. Hello. Welcome back, Baker. Oh, Blast Wind. This is a different game. I was thinking of a different game. Never mind. Yeah, this is a shmup. What game was I thinking of? Hang on. Now I'm like trying to remember what game I was thinking of. All right. What was it? Not Blast Wind. That was that. That's one we were just looking at. Bulk Slash. That's what I was thinking of. Bulk Slash. It's too many games, man. This is a cool game. Have you ever played this? Hudson made this game. Obviously, you see the name right there on the screen. Had chili for lunch. Yes, I understand, Luke. Wait, you guys eat? Sometimes. The Japanese library is massive. Yes, it is. Anime. Not Aunt May. That's from Spider-Man. Anime. I had a friend of mine in junior high kept trying to tell me that it was pronounced Anaheim. And I was like, really? It's Anaheim? And he's like, yeah, that's how it's pronounced. Anaheim. That's what they say in Japan. And I was like, so it's not short for animation? And he was like, huh? It's like, all right, dude. You always have that one friend who like wants to try to tell you like, no, you're pronouncing it wrong. It's actually some crazy thing. And you're like, okay, dude. And then you get burned the other way because I remember we used to buy animes on VHS tape and they would pronounce things incorrectly on like when they would do like promos at the beginning before the movie or whatever you're going to watch starts. They would have, I remember seeing like commercials for other animes that were narrated by like Peter Cullen, the guy who did Optimus Prime. And he was mispronouncing manga as manga. And he wasn't the only one. Like they would like scream manga. And my brother was like, I think it's supposed to be manga. And we're like, but they say manga. He's like, nah, I think it's supposed to be manga though. And then we found out later that was correct.
I'm here to help, Chris.
Anima.
Operations.
That's right, Drunken Cheese. It's pronounced enema.
Wow. There's the black.
Saturn is awesome, indeed, sir. Yeah, so look at it's a pretty interesting game. The Saturn, because of the chips, the two different video chips that it had in it, it had some capabilities for like this 3D stuff that has like this infinite plane, and you see it in a whole bunch of Saturn games, you know, Panzer Dragoon games and different stuff like that. And not every console could do that, so they had to come up with other ways to kind of do stuff that's similar to that. Saturn was actually pretty powerful if it was used properly, you know. It's pronounced mango. You in love with the mango? Tricom, don't get me started on how people pronounce Sega. Sega, Segay, Sega, cigar. Oh man. You playing Virtual On? It's got some similarity to Virtual On. But no. It's called Bulk Slash. There is a really good Virtual On for the Saturn though. I think the Dreamcast Virtual On is better, but the one on the Saturn is pretty good. I want to test it because sometimes when you burn a disc of Virtual On for the Saturn, the music doesn't pick up. So I want to see if it works through the Saru. I haven't tested it yet. So we'll learn that together. Let's back up. Yeah, from the bottom. From the bottom. There we go. Virtual On. Cyber Troopers Netlink Edition. Yeah, there's two different versions. This is the Netlink Edition. Game boot failed. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. I wonder why that failed. Well, I'll have to fix that. So, Phantasmagoria failed because I put all the discs in one folder, and that's not going to work. This failed, but I don't know why. So, it might be a bad ISO. I might have to re-download that and try it again. Or it might be the first one that I've found that doesn't work. I don't know. We'll find out. We shall find out. Vampire Savior. Oh, that one failed too. Oh, what's going on? Is something happening here? That one worked. Vampire Savior wasn't working either. I bet I gotta just re-download the ISOs because I was having some corruption problems when I was extracting ISOs for a little while. I don't know exactly what was happening. All right, I gotta try to remember my list. Vampire Savior, Virtual On, and then Phantasmagoria. I gotta fix those. I might have to tell Max because I already sent him his stuff. There's some issues with a few of them. Let's see. I need more Saturn games. Yeah. Apocalyptic fun fact: the Saturn destroyed the PlayStation on release in Japan. I only have Tomb Raider. I don't know why I have it for PS1 too. It ultimately was defeated once PlayStation got back to its feet. Every Saturn user has to play 3 Dirty Dwarves. All right, do 3 Dirty Dwarves. We'll do that. And then I gotta get off here because I gotta fix this because it's bugging me. All right, what was it? 3 Dirty Dwarves. Do I not have 3? Oh, wait. There it is. Okay. That one's working. Druggy Cheese, I extracted your mom's ISO last night, Trebek. I extracted your mom's ISO last night, Trebek. 3 dirty dwarves. That loads pretty fast. Ouch. I didn't mean to do that. Well, that didn't go well. It loads so fast. Damn it. Well, I'm sucking ass at this. I like how you get your guys back after a little bit. Oh, ouch. Wow. That was unexpected. Wow, what am I supposed to do there? Yeesh. Oh, okay. Now we can get to it. Well, there you go. Mystery solved. Ouch. Pretty cool. Okay, well, guys, it has been a while since I streamed, so it was nice to be able to come back and get a little bit of streaming in again. Very much enjoying my Saru. I got to figure out what's up with these games that I had a couple of issues with. Then I got to tell Max about, see if he can fix his versions. Unfortunately, I said, I was hoping everything was fine on his cart, but it looks like there will be a couple of issues. But anyway, this has been fun. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me tonight. I will try to do some more streams very soon. My voice has held up pretty well, so that's good. I really appreciate you guys being here for that. Bats a gun. We'll do that next time, Mike Wolf. We'll hang out and play some more stuff. But I gotta, when I get off here, try to fix whatever's wrong with these couple of things. Thanks, guys. It's been awesome. Mike Wolf, Trichome, Pierre, Baker, Knights Wolf, Drunky Cheese, Apocalyptic Minister, Luke's Awakening, PJ Smith, the Retro Bro, John, Kurt Bradshaw was here. I didn't even see Kurt. Damn, I almost missed Kurt. Did I say PJ Smith? Bill Bob was here. Who else? I know Luke, Casey was here earlier, the Intellivision Gamer. Salvatore was also here. Devastatromga. Thanks for being here. Yeah. I know Metal Torso's here also. And oh my gosh, so many people. The list goes on and on and on and on. Wow. If I missed you, I apologize. I'm terrible. You know, you don't have to forgive me. If you don't, I understand. But we'll be back more. We'll do some more Sega stuff, some more Saturn testing on the Saru cart next time I do this. Still work well. So yeah, there's a couple things that I've had issues, but I think I can fix them. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. You guys take care. I'll see you again very, very soon. Y'all be good.